Congratulations! How you guys all doing today? You guys ready for a chaos day? I feel like it has been like a year, like a solid year, almost a year since the last time I've done a chaos day. So you may be wondering, what are we going to be doing today? Are we going to be finishing Epic Mickey? Are we going to be playing more Class of '09? Am I going to do some One Piece TCG stuff? Are we going to be doing da booba da bada? And here's the thing. The answer is, you'll not know because it's a chaos day. I decide as I go along. That's right. This is a day where I wing it. I don't make any plans for what I'm going to be doing today or anything. You just are along for the ride. We're going to have a lot of fun today. By the way, speaking of which, there's a new channel point redeem that some of you may have noticed. So, if you guys ever find me being a little bit too sus, like talking about fucking your mom. Really? Really? You know, the idea is that you're not supposed to be able to just sit there and throw me into a goddamn trash bin. Are you happy with yourselves? Are you happy? Really? Why? You know, I probably should have put a timer on that shit, to be fair, with how often you can redeem it. But no, fine. You want me to get up close? Is that what you want? I didn't brush my teeth today. That's right. I have fucking chicken noodle ramen noodle soup on my breath. So breathe it in. I deep throw the mic there, right there for a second. What? I mean, someone had to deep throat the microphone. What did you think was gonna happen? I mean, I don't even have the ASMR mic on at the moment. I could turn it on, but I'm not going to do that. Your screen has a smell protector. How does it have a smell protector? I didn't even know that existed. Guess you guys are more advanced than I thought you would be. I mean, if I detach my microphone from this cable, I could probably deep throat it. I mean, hang on. Did you guys ever sit there when you were younger? Take like a noodle from when you're like eating Alfredo or spaghetti or ramen or something. Swallow the noodle, but hold on to it with your finger just so you could then pull it out of your throat because then you knew you deep throated the noodle. Did you guys ever do that? Because I used to do that all the time as like a party trick, and I fucking loved doing it. It was so much fun. Like, it felt weird. Kind of made my throat feel kind of good when I did that. But it was just like one of those things you do, and it's just enjoyable, you know? Like, I just love doing it. Also, Sarah's, thank you for the 200 biddies. Wait. What does that 200 biddies go towards? What does that 200 biddies go towards? Well, you know what? I'm not going to worry too much about it. I don't think there's anything that's going to happen. There's nothing wrong. I think it's going to be fine. So we'll be fine. Anyways, you know what? I do think I know what's one of the things I do want to do today, though. You guys have probably been curious about all the time. Every time I open up something on my stream, like, you may notice. I mean, I do have a gag reflex. I can just control it a little bit. That's why I don't let any smelly dicks go down it. But anyways, you guys probably keep seeing me tab onto this stuff, right? There's actually a reason that you might see this, because I've been writing up a little bit of some notes for myself. I'll get to that in a second. Hello, Alina. How you doing? I've been writing down my own notes, and you guys probably see me sometimes accidentally tab into it lately this past week. And it's been notes I've been writing about my observation about content creators and how it all works, right? I wonder, are you guys actually curious about this stuff? I wasn't even being sus that time. Jesus Christ. Really? I wasn't even being sus. Why? Oh, you're just going to sleep? Well, you know what? I hope you have sleep dreams. Dreams of a tomboy wolf girl. But I don't know if you guys would actually be curious about what I've been writing here or not. Other than just the fact that I've been writing something. We're doing sociological study now? No! We're not doing a fucking... No, I'm not doing a fucking... I mean, yeah, I have been doing spot on with that. There's more I've been actually working with on it recently that I've been wanting to, like, share a little bit. Can the mods see this? Yes, the mods can see that, Sonic. The mods actually can. I think I posted it in the mod resource hub in our Discord. But I don't know if you guys would actually be interested in hearing me talk about that stuff or not. Like, it could probably be a little boring. And I don't think you want a chaotic wolf girl to sit there and be like, oh yes, let me put on my glasses, my professor glasses, and tell you all about how the world actually works with VTubing. Yes, we're gonna start with lesson 1, engagement bait. Okay, you know what? Hang on. Before anything, let me just go and pull up this video. Oh no, what is this video that got pulled up on me? Hang on. Here you go. What the fuck? What? Jesus Christ! God damn it! Okay then, that happened. Anyways, okay. Okay, you guys really want to know about this? You guys really want to know about this? You know what, mods, if people actually want to know about what I'm talking about here, right? If people really want to know, let's put it to a vote, okay? Let's put it to a vote and see how many people want me to actually go over what I've been writing. All right, that's right. Let's do a poll. Let's do a fucking poll, okay? Like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? You guys are gonna be like, no. You mean nerd talk? Oh God. Oh no. You want me to nerd talk? You want me to nerd talk? Why is someone buying all the baby oil? Wait, I don't even know about the Diddy stuff to begin with. The only Diddy I know is Diddy Kong from Donkey Kong Country. I am so, like... I'm so out of the loop with that stuff. Oh, you redeemed an Ara, did you? Did you now, huh? You redeemed an Ara! An Ara! Well, you know what happens to those people who redeem Aras? Do you know what actually happens? Let me tell you a little story about what happens when someone redeems Ara. That's right, not Ara, Ara. That's me. You good little subby bitch. Now bend over and show mama what she likes. Why not use it? You know you just want me to sit there and give it to you, don't you? 'Cause you like a dirty, dirty motherfucking wolf girl, don't you? So, one more time. Disney. I mean, you kind of asked for it. You kind of asked for it. I need you to know that, right? You guys need to know you asked for me to do that, okay? Like, what were you expecting from me? Were you expecting anything less? Stay in the damn can? No. I only stay in the can if I have to go to a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, okay? And even then, do I look like someone who wants to go to a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament? No. You cannot pay me to go to a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. Oh my fucking God. You guys are gonna really keep me in the trash bin, aren't you? Are you proud of yourselves? Are you happy that I gave you guys a trash can redeem to throw me in the trash? Are you happy? You're very, oh man, God, I can't believe you guys are actually happy with me giving you a trash can redeem. God damn. Aiden, I will put a timer on it if you're not careful. Don't make me put a timer on it. Please don't make me put a timer on it. Oh, God damn it. God damn it. This is what I get for giving you guys something to redeem. You did just yeet me. I know you did. Holy shit! Holy shit! Metal, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. I appreciate it, hon. Thank you. As you can see, I'm in the trash can right now. I've been a naughty sussy girl, and I need to go and, you know, prove why I'm such a naughty sussy girl. So I'm really sorry about that for being a sussy girl. My bad. Okay, Frost, chill on the trash can. Chill on the... Jesus Christ, Satan. Thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Holy fuck. Also, the Twitch gave out a total of 7 gifted subs. Holy shit. Okay, guys, okay. You know what? Just because of that, I'm putting a timer on it now. Raijin, thank you so much for joining the El Kitachis. I hope you enjoy your time here in the hideout. Hang on. Let me do something, okay? Let me do something real quick. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna put a timer on it, okay? I'm gonna put a timer on the goddamn trash can because you guys don't want to let me outside of the bin. All right, cool down. We're gonna have a cooldown of 2 minutes on it, okay? But hang on now. Hang on a second. I got a plan here. Holy shit, we're already at a level 6 hype train. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna extend the duration of which the trash can continues to exist, right? So, I'm gonna make it to where I'm in the trash can for 30 seconds, okay? So that means now, whenever I'm in the trash can, then it'll stay longer while also being limited to being redeemed once every 2 minutes. That way, people don't spam the ever-living crap out of it, because Jesus fucking Christ. Porg, I don't want Link Monsters. Link Monsters ruin Yu-Gi-Oh!, okay? Freaking Link Monsters ruin Yu-Gi-Oh!, and I am so upset about it, okay? Like, have you ever sat there and looked at it with freaking, you know... I'm not putting 1 minute versus 30 seconds. No, not happening. Like, seriously, I loved Pendulum Summoning. That was actually, like, peak Yu-Gi-Oh! In my opinion. Like, you know, Pendulum was fine. XZ Summoning, Synchro Summoning was fine. But the second you introduce goddamn motherfucking goddamn motherfucking bullshit Link Summoning, it is the most bullshit thing I've ever dealt with, okay? Seriously, you know what's a good deterrent for me going to a Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament? I play the biggest rule in all of the card games. Take a shower, you smelly bitch. That is literally the only reason I won't go there. Fusion, Synchro XZs, or Pendulum. Honestly, for me, I really liked Pendulum Summoning. Because that's when I initially came back to Yu-Gi-Oh! After only... Because here's the thing, my first introduction to Yu-Gi-Oh! Was when I was a child, and I fucking played with Tribute Summoning and freaking, what was it, Polymerization, right? Like, literally, that's how I originally got into Yu-Gi-Oh! Quit for years, and then finally came back to play freaking, you know, Pendulum Summoning and then Link Summoning, you know? Actually, card shops have stopped hosting Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments because players are quitting? Really? I mean, to be fair, a lot of the cards just aren't even worth it nowadays. Let's be real here. I remember Ritual Summoning. I remember my Black Luster Soldier that I had in my deck. I remember those days. I remember having a shit-tier deck, but it was, goddamn, was it fun. It was one of those days where I actually tore up a kid's freaking, you know, cards, too. That's right, I got so pissed off at a kid winning against me with a Blue Eyes White Dragon, I tore it apart. It was so fun to tear it apart, watching him stare at me and be like, bro, what did you do? And I'm just like, I'm sorry, bitch. You were playing with the dragon. And I just thought the match was dragging on. And I just couldn't take it. You know, it wasn't fair. You cheated. So I tore it up just to make sure you understood it. Why did I do that? Because I could, okay? Because I fucking could. Stop dragging these nuts. Get to the game. What do you mean, get to the game? What game are we talking about? Who said I was playing a game today? Who fucking said it? Barely uses Blue Eyes White Dragon. Yeah, I know, right? It is absolutely obsolete. The fact that I actually see people, you know, doing stuff with it, you know? Wait, what? You did what? Huh? Nani? Nani no math? But no, honestly, okay, you guys want to know what I've been writing up about? You guys were asking me, since you guys are curious as to, also, I don't know if it's just me, but is the hype train bar still up there at the top, even though it says 0 seconds on it? Okay, there it went. Holy shit, Twitch is slow today. Holy fucking hell. All right, who wants a freaking free pack? Someone shout first if you want the free pack. If you guys want a free pack, shout first. Shout it. Okay, Sarah shouted first. We got Sarah's. We got Sarah's, okay? Hang on, let me go. And Sarah's, do you even have a Streamloots account? Hang on. Yes, you do. All right, there you go, Sarah's. I hope you enjoy your free pack. Anyways, no, you do, Sarah's. You actually do. I saw your name there. Anyways, so you guys are probably wondering what I've been writing about. Because I've been spending the better part of 2 weeks gathering information, actually researching stuff. That's right. I actually was thinking really hard on things. Like, I was thinking so hard, I have to take my jacket off. That's how hard I was thinking, okay? I was researching things about VTubing and being a content creator, right? And I came up with a couple of terms, okay? I did use both of my brain cells. So, fun fact, did you guys know that there's technically 2 different types of viewers when it comes to VTubing? Did you guys know that? Yeah, that's an actual thing. There's 2 different types of VTubers when it comes to VTubing. And it is insane to think about. Like, you know, I'm going to need to, like, pull up. I'm actually going to pull a paint for this so I can sit here and show you what I'm talking about. Actually, you know what? Just for the sake of this, I'm going to actually switch over to my game screen, actually. Because this might accidentally make it easier for you guys to see what I'm working with here. That way you can see more of the screen at a bigger size. You'll thank me for it later. Okay. Now then. We're going to be talking about this. Can you say something? What's up, Juan? What do you want? What are you saying? What's up? Come on, say something, say something, say something, say something, say something. Please? Say something before I peg your mom. Anyways, all right. So, I broke this down into a couple of things, okay? Actually, I feel like paint might not be the right job for this. I might need to open up, something else. Actually, you know what? Yeah, paint doesn't have layers, does it? Wait, what is this? Oh. Yeah, paint doesn't have layers. I'm needing layers for this shit. I need layers. I mean, we're going like ogre onion layers. That's how many layers we're gonna go, okay? You want to be my shadow on my side? Well, you know what? I appreciate that. I could use a new shadow, honestly. Now then, let's go ahead. I'm creating a lovely document here. You guys are about to see the power of the brain of Yumiko, all right? Also, yeah, fuck Photoshop. Just use freaking, you know, Affinity. Pay once, never have to worry about it again. There you go. Anyways, here we go. So, I'm going to divide things into a couple of different things. We have the viewer category, right? And then, not only do we have the viewer category, we have the streamer. I'm sorry, did it not want to capitalize everything? There we go. We have the streamer category. Saris, you motherfucker, I like touching grass, bitch! Seriously, does anyone like me actually looking this pale? Do you guys actually like seeing me this pale? Do you guys really like seeing me this pale? Like, seriously. I feel like this is kind of uncanny at times when you see how pale I look with this. Like, you like me either way? Well, you see, that's the right answer, but we all know you guys like your... Well, you know what? Fuck you! Unbleaches your freaking tomboy. Anyway, so we got these two categories here, right? Now then, you're probably gonna be wondering, why do I have a viewer category and a streamer category, right? So, viewer category gets broken down into two different... You motherfucker. Why do you want me fucking pale? Sonic, I swear to God, Sonic, I will come over there and I will fucking go and fuck you up so badly that... Do I need to break out the clicker again after what happened yesterday? Do I need to break out the clicker again? Do I, Sir Sonic, need to break the clicker out again, huh? Do I, bro? Do I? Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. Anyways. Anyways. So, you're probably wondering what I'm talking about here and why I have a viewer category. There's technically two types of viewers that I've come into an understanding of. And we're gonna use broad. And when I say broad, I mean really broad terms. Because while they're not great definitions, hi Carter, hi Boosa, how you doing, hon? While they're not the best terms to use, it's the best choice I had for them. So first off, we have the weeb as a category, right? And then the other category we have, and we're gonna just put her down here, it's called the gamer, right? This is our two categories for viewers, okay? But not only are we gonna have that as our two categories, then we also have two categories for streamers as well. Saris, you actually think you're the weeb? Are you sure about that? We have two different types of content creators. We got passive, reactive, and then we got active, reactive. Oh no, your mom's experience on a week of it, your sister gave her one, she couldn't get off the couch. You know what? That's fair. That's actually kind of funny, honestly. I don't blame you for laughing at that. That's actually kind of funny. Anyway, so here we go. Alright, so we got the weeb viewer, the gamer viewer. We have the streamer that can be either a passive reactive or an active reactive for a streamer. Now, this probably makes absolutely no sense to you guys. So, the question is, why the fuck did it not what? Huh? Anyway, so the way this is gonna work, the way I have to describe this and break it down is the first thing I'm gonna do is we're gonna break down the viewer side of things, right? So that means the streamer side is just gonna disappear for now. So, the weeb viewer, this is actually gonna be a very interesting thing to actually break down because the weeb viewer has a very big distinction between the gamer viewer. So the weeb viewer can be distinguished by a couple of points. First, they are tired of the anime industry, typically. Like, you know how you guys used to have Funimation and Crunchyroll? Well, you guys don't have that anymore. You just have Crunchyroll. And then sometimes not everything's on Crunchyroll, you gotta go to Hulu. And sometimes it's not on Hulu, you gotta go to Disney. And if it's not on Disney, you have to go to freaking Netflix. You know? Like, you're always going somewhere else to find some anime. Like, hell, even High Dive, you know? But then on top of that, you know, a lot of anime has just kind of, you know, turned into isekai, like... It's just kind of isekai slash generic, right? So it just kind of becomes very boring. And so what do weebs do as a result? They seek out VTubers. That's right. That's the thing with weebs. But with weebs, there are some distinctions when it comes down to how they actually function in the VTubing sphere. Because not only do they tend to simp more for VTubers, they also tend to have more parasocial relationships with VTubers as well. Because you want more Overlord? I know, Johnny, I know. That's why I'm working on it. This is just a basic description of this whole thing, right? But weebs are also more on the chill personality type as well, where they tend to be more chill, they tend to be more calm, and like, you know, hey, we'll do whatever we want to do. But on top of that, oh, Jesus Christ, I'm already running out of room here. Hang on. But on top of that, the other thing with weebs is that a big distinction for them when it comes to content creators as well, hang on, is that for weebs, as I'm using it as a definition, I actually probably should sit here and, there we go. So, for weebs, one of the biggest things is they are literally that whole friend who you can invite out and will join regardless of what you plan on doing, right? This is just a general description of what actually means being, like, the whole weeb as a mindset for the weeb definition, right? Then we have the gamer definition. And this one's gonna get a bit more technical-ish a little bit, because they are tired of multiple industries, but typically it's the video game industry, right? But then on top of that, they are very nostalgic, right? Because, and I'm gonna use this because this is a phrase that's actually pretty accurate. PS5 has no games, okay? That's a pretty accurate description of how a lot of the gamer definition is, you know? And the reason for that is because if you look at the way a lot of games have been as of late, a lot of games technically have been kind of just remakes. It's been remake after remake. Saris, I don't want to match the paper, god damn it. That makes me sad. Like, but here's the thing, it's been remake after remake. Like, I mean, sure, we have Epic Mickey's remake, which is actually really good. We had Lollipop, which is okay. But yeah, when's the last time we had, like, a new entry into, like, a series or a new IP that wasn't, like, you know, complete, utter crap? Like, modern video games, it makes a lot of people sad, and so as a result, that nostalgia plays an important... It's an important factor for the gamer personality type. I mean, there was Hi-Fi Rush, there's Stellar Blade, yeah. Yeah, there is both of those, and those are both really good, but those are so far and few in between. And I believe it was, like, last Sunday where I actually talked a little bit about how, like, there's not very many interesting games to actually, like, stream and play, because most of them are either remakes or just some mobile game that no one gives a shit about, you know? But on top of that with gamers, they tend to look more for people who are, you know, they're looking for content creators who they vibe with. Basically, share a similar opinion with, right? That's basically the gamer in a nutshell. And so as a result, it's not necessarily as who they vibe with, share similar opinion, humor, etc., right? But not only that, they also, as well, when it comes down to content creation, they also tend to have a more... They can also be either an active / passive personality type. But on top of that, oh Jesus Christ, I'm gonna have to like move all of this up here real quick. Hang on. There we go. Let me just make that bold. Okay, there we go. So I'm just gonna go ahead, make that bold. So not only that, they're also, you would say you're a mix of both tired of anime and chill, but also tired of game industries. Exactly. And so as a result, if you were to sum up the gamer personality type for a viewer, you could sum it up as basically the friend who you can invite out, but it really depends on what you're doing if they join. And so what that basically means... On your decision to bold those words? Yes. And so basically, when you actually look at this, right? You can see that, like, you know, the weeb is a lot more chill. And they're willing, like, if I were to sit here, I can just, like, you know, highlight tired and anime industry, right? But then I can also highlight here they simp. And then they tend to be more on the parasocial side. Whereas with the gamer, like, yeah, you're saying, William, the gamer spectrum goes wild. And so, if you were to actually then further break this up into something else, and this is about to get kind of a little controversial, right? This is going to get a little controversial. So, first off, when it comes down to this, there's two things to actually go with this. If you personally feel poked at, hey, it's okay. So, first off, what this means in terms of, what this means if you're dealing with as the weeb, if you're going to be attracted to the VTuber type, it tends to be on the smaller VTuber side, right? Whereas on this side, if I were to sit here and then give you the gamer aspect, it would be accurate to say for the gamer side, for the VTuber type, you would be looking more of... You'd be looking at more of the assholes and more of, like, for... Hi, Sassy. I hope you're doing well, hon. And no, you dropped your crown! And so, as a result, what you get here with the bigger VTuber type, you tend to get audiences... Actually, I should probably put... I should actually put it like this, right? And so, in essence, what this means is that, if you've probably noticed, that whenever you watch someone that tends to be on the smaller side, they not only tend to be more chill, but they also tend to fall more so in that smaller VTuber category. Sure, like, I've noticed, though, for a lot of times, for the weeb audience, they tend to max out at around 250 viewers. Whereas with the bigger VTuber stuff, you tend to have, I should actually correct this real quick. I should correct this thing here to say, like, it can even go up above, like, the 500 plus viewers, right? And so as a result, when you actually look at this, that means that whenever you look at it, these things can overlap. Like, you can have an audience that mixes between the two. And I think that's actually, you know, something that is absolutely important to put down, right? Is for me to put down that I want to actually clarify this specifically right here. And I want to clarify it because an audience absolutely can be a mix of both types here. And I'm even going to make it red so that it's easier to see since it's actually important, right? But yeah, that basically, because, like, you do have your people that are more on the weeb side. You have people that are more on the gamer side, right? There's a dynamic, a complexity to it. It's multifaceted, basically. How did all this start? Because I accidentally keep showing this document I've been writing up and everything. And people wanted me to talk about this. So, this, in essence, is basically what makes up two very broad, very different audiences, right? This is all just one part of this. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go hide this, and then we're going to go into the other part of this, and that's the streamer side of this, right? This is the part where we get into the whole thing with streamers being passive reactive versus the active reactive, right? And we're gonna start with passive reactive. What this means for, and I need to put this as streamer type here. So just to give you an idea of what this means for passive reactive is typically, did you ever do the projects involving PowerPoints in the past? I used to, yes. I actually used to do that a lot in high school. But, so, with passive reactive, that tends to be stuff where you get to see more of stuff that's like, you got your gacha games. The personality tends to be more on the chill side. So, chill, personality type side of things. So, chill personality type, but not only do you get, like, gacha games, you're also going to see them doing more story-heavy games, stuff that's repetitive in nature with the games. So you got your gacha games, you got your story-heavy games, repetitive games. You got your sandbox games as well, right? Like, that's kind of like in the repertoire, in the arsenal of a passive reactive type streamer, you know? And so sandbox, that can include stuff like Minecraft, right? Whereas repetitive games could be like, you know, stuff like Souls-like. And I say this like, you know, Souls-like with an asterisk. With an asterisk. Story-heavy games, this could be stuff like visual novels, if I can fucking type. So you got stuff like visual novels, or even stuff like God of War 2018, for example, right? That's something that actually will line up more so with that. Novels, if I could... Exactly. And then gacha games, where... You know what those are. That's like Genshin. There we go. Genshin Impact, right? That's kind of like their whole thing. Story-heavy games, yes. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth also would count on this as well. So, like, FF7 Rebirth. And that's kind of the basic understanding of what a passive reactive streamer is. And so when they interact with stuff, what that means is that you're going to get people who do interact with stuff, but if you throw them something like freaking, you know, throw them freaking Lollipop Chainsaw, it's probably not going to go so well. You throw them something like Sonic Unleashed, it may not go so well. Throw them Cyberpunk, and it may not go so well, you know? But then we got active, reactive streamer type, right? And what makes this so interesting in comparison to like, you know, the opposite part of this type, these people... Will we get the both category? Kind of-ish. It's basically like, you know, the kind of-ish. We'll get there. But with the active reactive streamer type, they tend to go for games that are going to be more like hack and slash. You know, maybe they get like, you know, platformers with an asterisk, because there's a reason for the asterisk, because not all platformers are created equal, right? But then you're also going to get, you know, Souls-like games as well. And again, that's an asterisk, which I'll explain in a bit with that. And then you also get... you tend to also get, like, ARPGs as well into this, right? And so, like, hack and slash, this could be something like, you know, Devil May Cry. Whereas platformers, it could be Mario or Sonic as well. MOBAs and MMOs, not necessarily. That would go more on that would actually go, I believe, more so up here on the passive side with, like, MOBAs and MMOs, right? The reason I say that is because in MMOs, there's not a lot happening. You're standing around a lot, okay? Like literally, if I were to pull up an MMO right now, you would see that you just kind of stand around a lot. Like let's put it like this, right? Let me just pull up real quick on YouTube. Let me pull up on YouTube real quick. Freaking. I'm gonna pull up Final Fantasy 14. I'm gonna pull up one of the Alexander fights, right? So look at this right here. If you look at this right here, there's not, like, yeah, it's flashy and it's exciting, but it's not that interesting, actually. There's not much to actually react to. A lot of it is standing around and waiting, you know? Great music, though. But then, yeah, like, you do also have stuff like rage games. Rage games absolutely work. Same thing with competitive as well. And that could be stuff like Apex, like Valorant, etc., you know? No worries, Johnny. No worries at all. So that's basically what that ends up being, right? Battle Royale, that's fair. Absolutely fair if you're not into that stuff. But on top of that, their personality, the personality type tends to be energetic to slash chaotic, you know? League of Legends, it definitely goes into that competitive area-ish, like... Okay, yeah. No, you know what? You're correcting me on this one, actually. Yeah. No, MOBAs would absolutely come down here into more of the active stuff. That would just go into a general, like, competitive area. But MMOs are more on the passive reactive area, okay? I think we can agree on that as a compromise. And yes, I know about the Tetris Battle Royale games. So, basically with this, Jesus Christ, like, I have so much up here just for the story-heavy stuff. You know what? You know what? I really need to figure out a way to make this a little bit more... You know, yeah, there we go. There we go. And then we're just going to move that down. Then I'm going to move this up right here, like so. Okay, there we go. Thank you for pointing that out for me. I didn't even notice it. I mean, I guess I can make the text a little smaller. There, is that better? Is that still readable for you guys? Because I wanted to make sure it was readable just in case, but there we go. Okay, so, now then, with this, what does that actually mean, though? Because there is, like, you know, there is an ability to shift gears with your audience, right? Like, that absolutely is something that you could do, is you could shift gears with all of that. Also, I am so sorry for what I'm about to do here. So, like, you absolutely can shift gears if you wanted to. And then I'm just going to make this and make it a little bit smaller as well, right? There we go. So, you could shift gears. What would Metroidvania be considered? It depends on the game, but typically speaking, because of the whole roguelike elements to it, you do typically deal with this issue. It's a bit too small for you. Okay, here we go. Is that good now? I hope that's good for you right there. Okay, so the thing is with both of these things is that, like, while yes, you can, like, you know, you can shift gears, it is a massive risk to try and be an active reactive streamer and then sometimes be a passive reactive streamer. And the reason for that is because I fucked your mom. But no, in all seriousness, though, the actual reason that this is so difficult... Also, fighting games also would be counted as an active thing. Yes, exactly, Pops. But here's the thing. This is what makes it difficult. Is that when you're dealing with this stuff, like actively dealing with it, right? Is that a lot of people, they get kind of mixed up with this stuff, thinking that they're going to do something. Because, let's put it like this. If you're someone who's on the more chill side, who's more passive with your reaction to stuff, right? I think the best way to actually give a good example of what I mean between passive reactive versus active reactive is I'm going to go to TikTok real quick, and I'm going to pull up one of the things I've liked recently. Right? So, I'm going to pull up this video right here. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how a passive reactive person would react. So, here we go. Once I finish, I'm going to count down from 3, and I'm going to act like a passive reactive streamer. All right, here we go. You know what? It would help if I counted down. 3, 2, 1, passive mode engaged. Oh, wow. Let's look at this video real quick. Wait, you're not supposed... Wait, what did he do? Oh, God. Oh, my God. Is he okay? Oh, my God. That sucks. I hope he's okay. That would be a reaction that someone that's like a passive reactive. Also, Batty, thank you so much for joining the brigade. Hope you enjoyed your time here with the Okadachis. That's passive reactive, right? Very chill. Now here's active reactive in 3, 2, 1. All right, let's look at this video. Okay, what we got? Science goes wrong. I wonder what they mean by that. Oh no, he pushed it. Oh no! You know what? He got what he deserved. You know what? He's right. Talk about getting a strike, because goddamn. Also, by the way, Lone Zora, thank you so much for joining the brigade. Hope you enjoy your time here with the Okadachis. But you see what I mean between the two difference? Like, one's a much more chill reaction versus... Yeah, so no, it doesn't depend on how much coffee you had in the morning. Typically, what it depends upon. I was doing some science, and then it hit me exactly. What it depends upon that you engage in an energetic passive approach, you could argue that. Yeah, basically, William. It's like, it depends on the way you react. Like, if someone goes and gets, like, scared, like, if you do a jump scare, you could be like, oh my god, why are you scaring me? You know, that could be a little bit more on the passive side versus someone being like, oh my god, why? What the fuck? Holy fucking shit! You know, one of those is more active with the reaction. One of those is clearly more active with the reaction, right? And that's kind of like the main difference is like you tend to be more on the energetic side as an active reactor where you're reacting to things more actively. Whereas it's like passively, you may not interact with your chat as much. You may not interact with what's going on in the stream. You may get a lot of like moments where these people sit there and being silent. I know you guys have watched a lot of other content creators, you know, where they'll just be sitting there for sometimes 10 minutes at a time being dead silent. You guys know what I mean? That's also another reaction. Oh no, Sarah. Ah, Jesus fuck! Really, Sarah? Yeah, when people are like being dead silent like that, that's more on the passive side of reaction than it is. You made me I made you say the same thing, god damn it. You know, argue that the streamer focuses too much on the chat without doing anything. Yeah, that is something that can happen too. And that is like, you know, a just chatting stream in a nutshell. But the thing is, with being like, you know, active, you tend to react to chat. You tend to react to what's going on in the game. You tend to be like jumping around, reacting to things really fucking fast. And it's like you got this personality that's very energetic. And the thing is, what makes this even more fun is VTubers, if I were to go and then make another fucking thing here, I'm gonna make an arrow, right? Exactly, William, exactly. So here's the thing, what I'm doing here is I'm making an arrow, right? There's a reason for this arrow. And the reason that this arrow is existing here, right, is this is gonna be a scale where with VTubers, on top of all this, because, you know, someone was asking about how, like, you know, the combination between the two. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get myself some text. Yes, just like there's a tism. You got your... You have your energetic, right? And your energetic is right here in, like, the center of this graph, right? I say graph, but let's be real here. This isn't exactly, you know, a graph so much as it's just a fucking arrow. Then you got your chaotic, right? And then, if you're not one of those, then on the opposite end, you have your chill, right? This is basically, and then I'm just gonna make another one here. The VTuber personality spectrum. Oh! Do you like what I did here? The VTuber personality spectrum. Brought to you by Yumiko Incorporated. So, like, that's the thing. Is what you thought, what's really interesting, and actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm also gonna do something else. I'm gonna give this a gradient, okay? That's right, I'm giving gradient here. And so we're gonna give a nice blue on one end. And then we're gonna give like a nice, like, you know, we're gonna give like a nice red going on here too. Actually, you know what? Orange. Actually, orange sounds really good, actually. There we go. Yes! Yes! And then we just want to get that kind of there. There we go. All right. So, now that we got this here, right? So, and I want to have an outline on this so that it looks nice and pretty. There we go. Yes. Yes. In fact, here's the thing. If I were to go and actually put an extra thing on this, right? I'm going to move this up, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm going to make this a little bit more interesting here. Where you're going to see that this right here, that's the most common. Whereas this right here is the least common, right? And the reason for that is because to actually be chaotic, most people aren't chaotic. Most people, when they say they're actually chaotic, they tend to actually be, so like I need to put down here as well. Right. They play chaotic or something. I'm going to put this right here. And like this as well. And the reason I'm doing that is because this kind of just gives a good description of what actually is considered chaotic versus what's actually the most common versus the least common, right? And I'm even going to make these italic as well with this so that it makes even more sense. There we go. Okay, now that I've done that, it made it really nice and fancy. The thing is with chaotic, it's not only is it really hard for someone to actually do, most of the time, when it comes to being chaotic, it's too much for most people, right? Like, most people typically will never be chaotic. I mean, you could put hyper, but chaotic's a more apt description because of the way VTubers tend to describe things. This is more of like a way to describe things. Like, you could say hyper, but, you know, hyper can also be considered energetic, you know? But, basically, the reason that this is actually so important. Also, this is gonna bug me if it's not, like, lined up correctly here. There we go. There we go, okay? So, part of the reason why this is so important with this is because, like, most people, when they say they're chaotic, they say that they're actually energetic because they don't know what it means to be chaotic. But it's really easy when you think about how the majority of people who are VTubers tend to be, like, working full-time jobs or part-time jobs or whatever. It's a lot easier to just be on the chill side, right? It's super easy to be on that chill side. Whereas for someone like me, like, if you were to, like, go and put different people on this spectrum, I could do that. I'm not going to do that because I don't want to offend any VTubers in case I get it wrong. But if you were to put me on this scale, I would actually be leaning. Hang on, let me just, get myself. Let me just get this correct here real quick, right? If I were to sit there and put myself on this scale, right? I believe for myself, if I were to put myself there, this is basically where I would be, right? It's super easy. Me, barely an inconvenience. Exactly. That's the thing is, like, I lean more towards the chaotic, but I tend to rubber band back and forth between energetic and chaotic. And the reason for that is that's just how I work, you know? Whereas a lot of other people may actually tend to lean more towards, you know, the chill area, right? I'm not going to put, like, an arrow down for where most VTubers lean just because, again, I don't want to cause any issues. But this is basically how it kind of looks, honestly. And so this bar down here really does go with that passive reactive versus active reactive, because this actually shows, like, that there is a spectrum to it. However, you do tend to go and get an audience that does tend to be more on one side or the other. Whereas the weeb, like, for example, the weeb personality type tends to go for people who are more passive, whereas the gamer will go for more people who are more active reactive with the way they play games. But that also means there's another thing, though, too, with this is as well. Hey, let me just name this as... that, and then this is the viewer group, and then this is the streamer group, right? All right, so now that we got all of that there, and we have all of this kind of here, if I were to then give you guys a list of games, right? I'm gonna go and now take this, and we're gonna go... and we're going to make an example out of this now, right? So what I'm going to do is we're going to take out... okay, we want to keep that. We want to get rid of this. And so what I'm doing here is we're going to make a viewer game type as a category. And then we got the... hi there, Rookie. Hope you're doing well, hun. Alright, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to be making a list of games, right? And then this list of games that I'm going to make, what we're going to do is I'm going to go and then put down, and we're going to basically go and put games down in a list of things, right? And the reason why we're gonna do this is it's gonna help showcase how certain games work better for some of them, right? Can one of them be Smash Brothers? I mean, yes. So, actually, you know what? Perfect. This is where audience interaction, this is where chat, this is where you guys are gonna come in with this. So, we're gonna start out with, Smash Brothers, right? Now then, here's the question. Where does Smash Brothers go? Would you say someone who's more passive would play it, or would you go with someone who's more reactive? Yeah, just the series. It doesn't matter which game it is, because it's a fighting game in general. You say both. Okay. Lost my headphones. Okay, yeah, so it does tend to lean more on the active reactive, right? It's easy to learn, but challenging to master. Exactly. Exactly. So, as a result here, right? Smash Bros would technically be considered more active reactive, but you could actually put Smash Bros in both categories, right? And the reason you can do that is because with Smash Bros, you can passively play the game. And yeah, well, Tom, man, your mom was telling me I was a good fuck last night, so how about you shut up before I become your new mommy? Or maybe you would like that, because then if I became your mommy, then I could fuck you, and we can make sweet, sweet home Alabama children, right? Anyways, well, you know what? I'll still fuck her anyways. Anyways, so let's go for the next game, right? So how about something like Mario Kart, right? Wait, why did you ban Tom Man? Hang on, Sonic, you didn't need to ban Tom Man. What? Tom Man, I'm sorry. Oh no. Hang on. There you go, Tom Man. I'm sorry. Didn't mean for you to get banned, okay? You're good. You're good. You're okay. You're okay. It was just a mistake, okay? I'm sorry, bro! Anyways, I removed the ban. Please tell me you're okay. Please tell me you're still there. Okay, good. Anyway, so here's our second game. Mario Kart. Right? Go with Mario Kart. Would you say that's a more of a passive game, a more chill game? Or or would you say that's a more of an active game? A more active reactive game? Cuz if I were sitting there and if I were to put there, it's chill in nature but can be competitive. And so here's the thing though, it's more on the passive side. And so if I were to sit there and actually give it one, it would be more on the passive side because it gets repetitive, right? And remember, I said that part of the issue for the active reactive streamer is you're dealing with something that's more... If you deal with something that's too repetitive, it's not going to work for the active reactive streamer. Now then, the next game I'm going to go and throw in here as an option is, let's throw in no, not Team Fortress 2. We're not gonna touch that because yeah, no. Maybe we will. I don't know. So if we were gonna touch this, right? Next up, you know what? Yeah, let's touch Doom, right? Let's touch Doom. Would you put Doom more into the passive category or more into the active category? Because me personally, I would say it's passive for one reason. One reason. And that's its repetitive nature. Because to me, the repetitive nature, like let's say Doom Eternal. Because my argument against Doom being more passive is because not only is it repetitive, sure, you got a bunch of stuff happening, but how much can you actually talk about when it comes down to a game like Doom? Like, Doom is one of those games you kind of like stim to, you know? Where you just kind of passively play it as you run through the levels and you kind of talk with your chat. Whereas, you know, if you're sitting there trying to play it, it doesn't really feel quite so right, does it? Does that make more sense, chat? Because I think that's kind of the thing, is like Doom, yes, it can be very active. It absolutely can. But that doesn't mean that it's actually going to be interesting. Because for me, honestly, I tried playing Doom, right? I actually tried one time playing it on stream. I was actually bored out of my mind. And I was personally bored simply because when I was dealing with Doom, it just kind of was like, okay, cool, I'm killing enemies, but what else is there? That's all it was for me at the end of the day, and that's just not really that much fun for me. Like, it's fun if I need to stim, but besides that, it's not all that interesting if you catch my drift on that. And so something like, you know, Doom, I would have to put an asterisk there simply because it depends. It really depends, you know? Basically, the Tism Stism game, yes. What about Legend of Zelda series, like Tears of the Kingdom, right? Tears of the Kingdom, honestly. So TLOZ, The Legend of Zelda. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Hello there, KB. How you doing, hon? So, Tears of the Kingdom is very passive, and the reason I say it's passive is because it's a sandbox game at the end of the day, okay? If you run around in that overworld, also thank you so much for joining the brigade. I hope you enjoy your time here with the Okadachis, KB. But yeah, honestly, with Tears of the Kingdom, what about games like Hollow Knight? So, Hollow Knight, that's actually one I want to touch because that's another one I actually tried to play at one point. But Tears of the Kingdom, it's sandboxy, and most of the time, nothing is happening. Like let me pull up a video real quick of Tears of the Kingdom to kind of showcase this better, because I actually think this is important for me to actually show. So okay, I'm trying to see if there's like a... If gender is what's in your pants, your gender is piss fair. So, like, let me just, like, you know, open up something here. And it's like, you're wandering around a lot, but there's not, like, a lot to actually fight in the game. And so, when you're wandering around, what exactly is there for you to really do? Like, it's cool and all, but the world itself is empty as fuck. It's an exploration game. Do I like parkour games? Depends on the parkour game, honestly. But, like, you see how empty this is? Like, it takes so long just to fly from one point to another. For me, when I played Tears of the Kingdom, I didn't bother getting a horse. I didn't bother with crafting much. I basically used the freaking, you know, launched myself up into the sky and basically went to the story points, and that was about it, you know? I didn't have any reason, any desire to explore. Like, this place looks so fucking dead, okay? It looks fucking dead as hell because of how much is missing, you know? What's weird is in Elden Ring, though, it's a little bit of a different story because not only is the world populated with enemies that you can deal with. I have actually tried Neon White. It's a little bit of fun, but it gets repetitive over time. I mean, yeah, it's like there's been a calamity, but the problem is even still... No, I interacted with the map a lot. Like, I played freaking Breath of the Wild, and it was awful playing Breath of the Wild, okay? Absolutely awful. But, no, not necessarily, because, like, in Elden Ring, for example, it was the scale. It's the scale of the map that's, like, the most important thing, right? Because in, like, you know, Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild, part of the problem is that if I want to, like, traverse the entire map here, right, from one point to another, it takes me so long to get from point A to point B. It's tedious. Yeah, it just really needs to be populated. Whereas with something like Elden Ring, if I'm wandering around the map, it's not going to take me too long to find an enemy. It's not going to take me too long to find something interesting. But if I'm wandering around in Breath of the Wild, the amount of time in between spots with nothing happening is boring. Yeah, I never got a goblin glider. I never saw, like, literally, even when I was underground, I rarely found a goddamn enemy underground, actually. It was so obnoxious playing Tears of the Kingdom. And even when I did explore, because I tried to explore, but you know what I found? Nothing. Literally in Elden Ring, I literally could move a rock, literally, and a boss fight occurs. You're not wrong, KB. You're not wrong. That's why Elden Ring was so much more fun for me as an open world game. Hell, it's why I've been enjoying GTA 4 and 5 more. No, I didn't even find monsters really down there. I found a couple of machines and caves, but yeah. You could go 10 feet and then have a fight. I literally couldn't have a fight if I went like a mile in this game, you know? It was ridiculous. That would be filled with DLC. Yeah! Yeah! That's kind of what it does feel like, is it's a massive map that should be filled with DLC. There's nothing there. San Andreas with crowd control. I don't. Is it even on crowd control? But the thing is like, I enjoy GTA because with like GTA 4 and 5, you steal a car, you're gonna have the police on you. You shoot someone down, police on you. Like, there is stuff to do. I technically prefer GTA 4 over 5, but that's a different story, you know. But that's the thing, is like a game like, you know, Tears of the Kingdom, it's just too passive. But on the flip side, I would say for an active game, GTA 4/5 would also be there. Or I could say GTA in general would be an active game. Really made you which Fallout series is good? That's fair. So what about Souls-like? Okay, so this is, remember, so yeah, you remember how I had that as an asterisk, right? So, with Souls-like, I would put, you know, Elden Ring as a more active, reactive Souls-like, right? But then, if I were to put a more passive Souls-like, I would actually put, Black Myth Wukong underneath passive. And then I would also put, Sekiro as well up here with this as well. And the reason I would put it up here with this, I know that seems weird for me to put both of these Souls-like games up here in the passive area, right? But the actual reason for it is because with Wukong, at first it looks like something that's very active, reactive. But because of the lack of weapons being changed, because you're just using a pole from beginning to end, what starts out as really interesting starts to quickly become repetitive due to the lack of anything interesting that's new and fresh happening, like in Elden Ring, you know? Because, like, yeah, Sekiro and Wukong is more of a boss rush game, which becomes a lot more passive. Thank you for the hydrate, by the way. And as a result, there we go. And so as a result, when you're sitting there and you're playing Wukong or Sekiro, because of the fact that it's such a boss rush, what ends up happening is you become more, it becomes stale, it becomes repetitive, it gets kind of boring. And so you want to be more passive with it. And if you watch a lot of people who play Wukong and Sekiro, you'll notice how quiet they are, how focused in they are. If you watched me play Sekiro, I was hyper-focused on that. I was so hyper-focused, it was insane. Just because of Ram 5s, exactly. But on the flip side, I could also sit here and say another one that's actually more active would be something like Lies of P. You know? Because Lies of P absolutely would go under active-reactive just because of the way it is. And to an extent, you could also say frickin' Lords of the Fallen. Right? As far as Devil May Cry, Dark Souls in general, I would say due to the fact, that there's a variety with the enemies and the weapon choices, it does fall within active reactive. I'm doing good, Train. How you doing? Devil May Cry. Now that's an interesting one. It depends. Devil May Cry actually depends, okay? In fact, I would say for Devil May Cry, I would put it both in the active reactive. Yeah, I would put this more so in both the active reactive and the passive reactive, depending on the game, depending on the repetition of it. How you do it? Oh, wait, what? Oh, I thought for a second that was Cutie Sugar Cube there with Chishigi. Yeah, DMC can be very repetitive. That's why I'm saying, like, it depends. And that's why I would also say the same thing for Resident Evil as well, right? Because Resident Evil can also be both. And again, it depends on the game, right? Like, the second game was originally not supposed to be a Devil May Cry game. I mean, to be fair, the first one was technically supposed to be a Resident Evil game and then turn into freaking Devil May Cry, but that's a different story. But yeah, no, Resident Evil, again, it goes into both of those. As far as Hollow Knight, because I forgot who it was that asked about Hollow Knight, but Hollow Knight is another one of those. It's a Souls-like, or it's not, well, not really. I mean, it's a roguelike Soul-like. Evil, modded, or unmodded. I'm going off of unmodded at this point. So, when it comes down to, Lone Zora, if you're still here, when it comes down to Hollow Knight, I would say Hollow Knight goes more so up here into the passive area. And the reason I put it there in Hollow Knight as a passive stream is while it has those Metroidvania aspects to it, right? You're also dealing with the game itself being very repetitive and backtracky. And so you're already crossing over a lot of the same ground that you've already traversed over. And so eventually, there's only so much you can really talk about with that game before you start to get kind of, bored, if that makes sense, if you're trying to commentate over it. Because that's actually one thing I need to make a distinction with, is all of this is based off of if someone is streaming the game versus over something like if they're playing the game personally, right? And so as a result, for a game like that, nobody likes to backtrack. Exactly. Exactly. And that's where another thing comes into play, right? Is, a game that could go into both categories would be something like, Super Mario Sunshine. Even though, because of the way it plays and the lack of repetition. But if I were to sit there and put another game from the same series, I would actually say that something like, Super Mario Galaxy would go more into the passive side due to the repetitive nature of the levels and the fact that there's a certain point where you just have to grind out stuff, It's really, really bad. And the thing is with Banjo-Kazooie, again, Banjo-Kazooie, while watching a playlist, exactly, Saded, exactly, you're right on that. Sometimes watching a playlist of the same game could work. If I remember correctly, Saded, you said you've never played God of War 2018, but you much preferred, I think you said you watched it, though, and I'm going to guess that God of War 2018 is just not your type of game, right? And to that extent, I would actually put for passive reactive, I would actually sit there and put, not only would I put God of War up here with the passive reactive, because it's very story heavy. There's a lot of dead space and a lot of talking. And so as a result, it can get kind of monotonous over time. And so while it may be a game I enjoy, it's not a game I can enjoy on stream. And that is a big thing, is making sure you enjoy stuff. But there is a chance, if you're an active reactive streamer, that the OG, like the God of War OG would probably work a lot more for active reactive. Would the list change if we include difficulty options? No, it would not. Because the thing is that you like Kratos in a story, but you don't want to play it. That's fair. It does feel like it should have been more of a movie, doesn't it? It really does feel like it should have been more of a movie at the end of the day. Hang on. And so, like, as a result, it just gets kind of boring, you know? But the original God of War stuff might be a bit more fun and up the alley of someone who's an active reactive streamer. That can be more interesting because it's just constantly go, 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 enemy after enemy, you know? Whereas, you know, the new one is just, meh. And the problem is with the difficulty options, okay, the enemies are more difficult, so fucking what? Who gives a shit? You know, you still have a long period of time in between each area, you know? As far as Assassin's Creed, I'll get to the Dead Space in a second. Assassin's Creed, honestly, I actually don't know on that one. Like, actually, you know what? You know what? I do know, okay? Assassin's Creed, actually, I would say is more on the passive side. And the reason is because of how chill and methodical. You're doing a lot of parkouring, a lot of sneaking around. It's okay, but it's not exactly the most interesting game. It's the same issue with God of War, if you're trying to commentate over it. Whereas something like Armored Core, definitely goes into active with that, how fast everything goes. Interesting is debatable. I mean, yeah. Everything before Origin, I only ever played a little bit of Black Flag, so I don't know much about Assassin's Creed. Was never a big fan of it to begin with, honestly. But, oh, hi, Okami. Hope work went well for you. But, on top of that, if I were to go and make, let's say, you know what? When it comes to Dead Space, due to the horror element, I would actually put Dead Space in both categories, right? Because with Dead Space, you can both be very passive when you're playing it, and it can be a lot of fun, but on the flip side, you could also sit there and you could play it and be very reactive and active with things, you know? And so as a result, Dead Space becomes very interesting with both categories working because of the overlap alone, you know? It's the same thing with, like, Zelda games. Like, if I were to go and give another example of a Zelda game, right? Like, you could do Wind Waker up here, like, hang on. Legend of Zelda Wind Waker would actually qualify for both of them. Wouldn't good horror games be in both? Yes. Good horror games would actually absolutely be in both. In this particular case, we're just kind of, you know, working with, like, just, like, game suggestions here. I would say, unfortunately, like, Hi-Fi Rush, for example, is more on the passive side, unfortunately. Because, for me, I tried Hi-Fi Rush, right? I tried playing it on stream. I enjoy the game, but it got way too repetitive after a while. And I was just like, you know, this is fun, but I don't have much to say about it, you know? There's not much for me to say. But if you were to bring up something like, you know, FNAF Security Breach. I have not played Far Cry 5, actually, believe it or not. It's on my list of games to play. Would you say it's worth playing, actually? God damn, I'm gonna have to, like, move this over real quick. Hang on. Because we are, like, running out of room at this point. Holy shit. Okay, there we go. Okay, so... Now, I'm just making these new ones real quick just so we have more space, basically. Very good, hell yeah. What do you mean, break the wolf? What do you mean? Top 10 best game? You know what? I'll have to try it. I'll actually have to try it. I will say another game that would actually fit really well for the active reactive is Cyberpunk 2077. And technically speaking, you could actually... Hang on. You could actually technically put it into both categories. The Witcher, unfortunately, The Witcher is just a bit too much into the passive side, you know? The Witcher would go up into the passive reactive because it's a bit too open world, kind of empty-ish. I've tried playing The Witcher 3, for example, and I'm like, God, why do I feel like there's nothing to do here, you know? That's how I felt about The Witcher. Silent Hill, absolutely 10 out of 10 would go into both categories. Only because of the fact that Silent Hill is a horror game. You're forklift certified? Well, hello there. You know what are you going to do with that? Yeah, I actually put one on there, Johnny. I put Wind Waker on the list of things there, actually. With Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, because there's a lot more stuff happening. Sure, you are sailing in between points, but it's just kind of, you know, it's still more interesting because there's more dynamics going on. However, if I were going to put Bravely Default, yeah, Bravely Default would be more passive for one reason. For one reason. And that reason is because it's a JRPG. Because let's put it like this, right? Let's put it like this. I'm just going to pull up, you know... Because let me just pull up something like, you know... Final Fantasy, right? Like, what is there to say? Because that's the thing is, like, you know, even if I were to pull up, like, you know, Bravely Default 2. Like, let me just pull up one of the boss fights, right? Here we go. Like, does that look like something interesting to watch someone talk about? Like, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Game is absolutely fun, right? I enjoy Bravely Default. I enjoy my JRPGs. But I will be fucked if I were to sit there and try to stream it. Because what I'm going to be like, and now I press the attack button. Oh my god, they're using a Mega Flare? Oh no! What am I gonna do? Oh right, I can't do anything. I can't dodge. Like, how would an online multiplayer game? What did you have in mind, Finn? What did you have in mind in regards to an online multiplayer game? Because if we're talking about, like, you know, more competitive battle royale games, that's one thing. But if we start talking about MMOs, that's a different thing, right? Like Lockdown. Okay, with like Lockdown. Okay, so in regards to Lockdown Protocol, man, that's difficult actually. So Lockdown Protocol would actually go into both, right? And the reason it goes into both is because with that, it absolutely, exactly, Seda just said it. It's active with the right people, or it's passive with the right people. With the wrong people, it might as well be passive, so it goes into both categories with an asterisk next to it due to the fact that it's very much on that awkward side of things, right? And so, like, if you were to take another game, let's say, you know, if I were to throw in something like, Final Fantasy 14 is absolutely passive. It's an MMO. There's not much going on in it when you're actually playing. Like, sure, there's enemies, but what are you going to do? You're just standing there waiting for your attacks and skills to go off. That's not all that interesting to commentate on. And because of the lack of voice acting on a lot of things, it's not like you can react as much actively to things. It's just you're going to be doing a lot of reading. And do you want me to sit there and read you a novel? You want to sit there and read you the B-movie script, basically? That's basically what it would be in a nutshell. It's not that interesting. But on the flip side, if you were to go into something else that's multiplayer, I could put, you know, Overwatch 2. I could put League of Legends. I can put Apex into the active reactive games, right? Yeah, even if it's repetitive, you know, it's fair enough, Zapdos. Call of Duty. Call of Duty would also be in that same line of things with the active. Because of that, with Titanfall, I personally got bored out of my mind with Titanfall. Like, Titanfall is one of the most boring games I played. You've recently played Grounded? Yeah. Grounded, not bad. Okay, Slime Rancher, yeah. Slime Rancher, it goes into passive because of how it is. Same thing with, like, you know, Stardew Valley. Same thing with Minecraft. And you could also put Grounded. However, Grounded could also be put as well into active for one reason. And that is because of the fact that Grounded has multiplayer. And so technically, depending on the team you have with you, it can make it more active or more passive. But if you're by yourself, it's absolutely on passive, you know? Undertale? Honestly, Undertale, with how short of a game it is, you could actually put it into both, believe it or not. You could actually put Undertale underneath both of them for one reason. And the reason Undertale goes under both of them is simply because, well, yeah, besides the genocide boss fights, there's not much going on, but the enemies you encounter do have different strategies that you have to use to beat them, which makes it interesting enough as is. And by the time, because of how short the game is, just put, you know, like, just simply put, it's short enough to not become repetitive. Like, I myself, I really enjoyed Undertale. I actually had a lot of time. I've actually thought about playing it on stream because it's one of those things you can do quickly and you can have fun with it and not feel like you're bored out of your mind or losing commentary, you know? That's kind of just how Undertale works as a whole. Deltarune's its own thing because it's got like a whole bunch of different stuff going on with it, which I'm not going to get into. Sounds like the bounty boards in Genshin, yeah. Shinigami Tensei Nocturne. Oh, God. Honestly, hang on. Hang on. Let me pull up Shinigami Tensei Nocturne real quick, actually. Okay, so... Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with ya. We did put Devil May Cry on there, Johnny. We already put Devil May Cry. It depends on what it's gonna be. But yeah, the Persona goes underneath passive as well as the Shinigami Tensei, which I'm just gonna have Shin Megami Tensei. And, oh, Dante. Oh, that makes more sense. Okay, yeah. So the reason why Persona and Shin Megami Tensei go on there is 1, JRPG. 2, visual novel. So, like, if you were asking someone to do a visual novel, guess what? Not gonna work. So if you ask someone to do, like, you know, Neko... Actually, no, not Neko Par. I'm trying to think of a decent visual novel. Huh. Okay, I got one. Clannad, right? Clannad would be one. But there is exceptions to the rule, right? There are exceptions to the rule. Like, for example, Class of '09. Because it's a deconstruction of visual novels, which makes it so much more interesting. Where would I put Genshin? Genshin Impact would go to the passive side because 1, it's a grind. I mean, yeah, Class of '09 is more active, but it's a visual novel, so it works in both categories, Lena. Genshin Impact is absolutely passive because not only are you basically just grinding and doing repetitive daily tasks for to actually do your pulls, you're just waiting for new content to come out. And it's not like there's that much interesting stuff to actually actively do in Genshin Impact. And so as a result, Genshin Impact becomes very boring, you know? Oh, did I misspell Clannad? Thank you for the correction, Sainin. And so that's basically any gacha game, whether it's like, you know, freaking Honkai Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero, Genshin Impact, Honkai freaking Impact, whatever the fuck you, whatever the flavor of the week freaking thing is, what was there, Tower Fantasy 2, like whatever you want, whatever, regardless, we're talking about freaking, you know, the idea is gacha games in general, you know? And that's the thing, yeah, like the strategies for some of the fight make it active, especially the boss fights, exactly. That's the, like what I say with Undertale, because it's interesting watching, like, you know, playing it, it's like, oh, this enemy you gotta do this enemy you gotta do a combination of things, and so on and so forth. Makes it interesting. And so as a result, the more I sit here and the more I look at it, the more you get to, like, you know, you sit there and you may have noticed. Have you guys noticed a trend on how easy it is to find more passive games than it is to find reactive games, like the active games? Is that actually kind of surprising to you guys? Because I think it's a little bit shocking. It's a little bit interesting to me to see this actually like this. No, really? Really? Because, I mean, hell, let's take a quick trip over to Twitch real quick. Hang on. Yeah, we're going to Twitch real quick. Hang on, I'm going to make sure my tab is muted. So, I'm going to come over here, go to Twitch, and the reason I'm doing this is I'm just going to show you guys what we have going on Twitch for trending categories. Right up here is like the top categories, right? So, just chatting, both passive and active. GTA 5 can be both passive and active, but tends to be more on the active side. Valorant, definitely more active. Minecraft, passive. League of Legends, active. World of Warcraft, passive. Special events, that's a freaking both. Fortnite, we don't talk about Fortnite. So then, but then if we scroll down a little bit more, we got Throne of and Liberty. I don't even know what the fuck that is. Counter-Strike, kind of a bit of both. EA Sports, skip. Dota, active. Call of Duty, active. Kings League, don't even know. TCG Card Simulator. I don't know. That seems like something that could go either way. Especially, like, if you love TCGs, you could probably make it an exception to the rule and be very active. Whereas if you're doing something that's passive, it might be more passive. Dead by Daylight, active with the right people, passive otherwise. Yeah, it really does depend on the streamer. Overwatch, active. Deadlock, don't know. Apex, active. Escape from Tarkov, I'm going to say active. Smash Brothers, both. Teamfight Tactics, don't know. Poker, I thought we banned poker on Twitch. Okay, never mind. Roblox, both. ASMR, more on the passive side, but can be active. You've seen me torture you guys with ASMR. But, like, you kind of start to see that there's a lot of, wow. Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is not doing that bad. Not doing that great. Wow. Okay, anyways, ADHD go burr there for a second. Anyways, the point is that you start to notice that more and more of this stuff is very passive. We're not touching hot tub streaming. That's hot tub streaming goes into a category I like. You know what? I got you, fam. Hang on. There you go. You know what? Ignore me on my spelling, but there. Horny reactive, hot tub stream. You happy? Perfect. It's its own category. Get out of here with that. But basically, part of the reason Another Crab's Treasure, we don't talk about that one. Can we not talk about that one, please? Can we please not talk about that one? I don't want to think about Another Crab's Treasure. That one was awful, okay? That one was awful. No. Anyways, get the gun. Yeah, that was basically my reaction, is get the gun. This game's bullshit. Like, seriously. But part of the reason why so many of these games are more passive is a lot of it does come down to the viewer type, which I was showing over here. And you remember how we were talking about the viewer type, right? So here's something that's going to be more fun. We're not going to go and touch this real quick with, we're going to go touch grass right now. So now with the weeb type, here's something that's more interesting about Are we good, guys? Did anything break? I hope nothing broke. Nothing broke, right? Nothing actually broke. We're good, right? Right? You can hear me still, right? Hello? Audio check! Audio check? Are we good? We good? Okay, we're good. Okay. I'm just gonna refresh the page here, making sure that it didn't, like, reset itself or anything stupid. Okay. Okay, so what I was gonna say is with the weeb type, it's the content they'll watch, right? Okay, is there any audio delay out of curiosity? Hopefully there's no audio delay. Fingers crossed. Is there any audio delay between the way me talking and, like, with my mouth moving at all, or are we good? Hello from the other side. There's a small delay. All right, if we're good, then okay, we're good. Okay, we're a second off? Okay, hang on. Okay, is that better now? Is this much, 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 much better now? Am I back and synced up and everything? Hopefully. Maybe-ish. Okay, good. Okay. So, now that we can get back on track here, okay? So, the whole thing, what makes this interesting here is what the weeb will watch, the weeb content watch type, right? It was good to begin with. Well, you know what? Maybe I fixed it. I made it better now. Doesn't that sound even better? So, the weeb content watch type, right? So, typically, the weeb will watch both passive and reactive, so there's a... It would help if I would actually, you know, be on the right thing. So, they're typically more open to whatever they watch, right? So that means they may watch someone do passive, they may watch someone do active stuff, they may watch both, right? Because again, it's a spectrum. But then on top of that, that means that they're less likely to worry about drama in the industry. And they're less likely to worry about the drama in the industry because of the burnout that they have in general with the industry, right? And so as a result, that would mean, actually, hang on. But that also means as well, any weird question, do I have any pockets? Yeah, actually. I don't think, well, no, if I'm wearing my shorts, I have pockets. But if I don't have my shorts on, I don't have pockets, unfortunately. I do have a gun holster, though, if that counts for something. Wait, why do you eat pockets? It's so weird. Anyways, so, like, not because of that, that means that, like, you know, if something happens, whether it's, like, you know, like, with the recent thing with Sony and the issues they were having with, like, the PS5 Pro and what was going on with that, that basically was enough to cause issues where a lot of people didn't necessarily want to play a lot of Sony titles. Like, Astrobot, as much fun as it is, it does cause issues because Astrobot's kind of just there, you know? Like, it's fun, but it just kind of stings a little bit because of all the IPs that they reference there. Because, like, with all the IPs that they have there with that, like, in Astrobot, it's like, oh, where's my new Ratchet and Clank game? Where's my new freaking Jack and Daxter? Etc., 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 you know? There's, like, all sorts of games that they want to play, But how can they play them if it's just not there, you know? And that's what's upsetting about it. And so as a result, people who fall on that weeb spectrum for the kind of viewer type tend to just not really give a shit about it anyways. And so they'll basically watch you play whatever, you know, do whatever, you know. Like, there's a lot of different things that, you know, like, the weeb will actually watch. And so as a result, they tend to be less picky as a result. You tried to tell me what the detective... You know what, Sonic? You're right. You tried to tell me. I had fun with it, but that aside, Sonic, please see me in my room afterwards. I'm going to be pegging you in front of your wifey, fiance person thingamajiggy, and I'm going to make sure she understands how much you fucked up. Congrats, bro. Anyways, you got a point, though. But the weeb personality type does seem to be a little bit less picky with what they watch. And that's just because they're kind of there to chill and vibe. Because, basically with the weeb viewer type, they are very much more interested in chilling and vibing above everything else. Just because of how interesting, how it's more about, like, you know, it's more about the streamer and what they're doing and what they're reacting to than anything else. And then that's where we're going to get into the differences of the gamer. Hi there, JV. Hope you're doing well, hon. This is where we're going to get into the differences between the gamer viewership, right? You are picky about the streamer and chat vibes. Yes, and that's exactly where I'm about to go. So the gamer is more picky with what they watch. And the reason for that is because they want to make sure that whatever they're watching is going to be something interesting, right? They basically want to watch something. I'm doing good, JV. They basically, what they're wanting to do is they're wanting to sit there and they want to watch a certain type of content. So as a result, they tend to be more in tune with recent ongoings in the industry. And the reason that they tend to be more in tune with that stuff, the reason that they're more in tune with it is because they have the whole brand loyalty thing going on. Like, again, with what was going on with the PS5 Pro, yeah, it's stupid. Yeah, the lack of a disc drive is really stupid. I think they really should just be including it when you're paying $700. But for a lot of people, that's enough for them to not want to support the console. And so they're not going to play the new games. They're not going to play, you know, whatever's released on the PlayStation. Like, the fact that, you know, there was multiple new games on the PlayStation, it's more likely to be boycotted. It's the same thing with, like, you know, oh, if this creator came out with XYZ issue, we're going to ignore it, you know? Yes, Tom, man, we did a little bit. And so as a result, what that means with them being more in tune with recent ongoings in the industry, that means that, let's say, you know, that means that, you know, they may be also more worried about spoilers, right? And so what that means is that, oh, maybe they don't want to watch someone play the game because they want to play it. And maybe there's issues in the industry, and because of that, they don't want to support that. And so, by default, if someone's playing something that was exclusively like to Sony, they also may not want to watch that person until they're done with it. It's like, you know, you could play Pokemon, but that doesn't mean everyone's going to want to watch you play Pokemon. Some people will, some people won't. They'll just wait until you come back for the next thing, right? And I would say on top of that with the gamer, there's more worry, there's more desire to connect with the actual person. Whereas with the weeb, more desire to simp for the VTuber. And that's where like a very clear distinction is in between, right? Because with the gamer, they know that the person that's making the content is an actual person. They want to connect more with the actual person behind it. Whereas with the weeb side of things, they would rather simp for the VTuber. They'd rather be, ooh, look at how cutie. Yeah, no, it becomes a lot more parasocial, you know? And so as a result, you may get people being a little weird. You know, it's one thing to support, it's another thing, you know, like, you've probably seen it in a lot of places with a lot of VTubers, and you've probably noticed, like, where it's gonna be like, oh, well, marry me, senpai. You know what I'm talking about. You guys probably know a little bit of what I'm talking about with this. It's kind of difficult. You just kind of know. And so as a result, you know, yeah. And so as a result for the gamer, because they're wanting to connect with that actual person, that means they want a more authentic vulnerability. Whereas while, yes, on the weeb side, they want you to be, you know, more open, but not necessarily authentic. So because basically what that means is, like, you know, with the gamer, it's like treating why vulnerability more authentic, because basically, okay, you know what what I should say, more authentic. I should correct it. Hang on. More authentic openness, right? That's basically what I mean. Is like from the weird point, if you're simping for someone, do you really want to know that they went and got their nails done yesterday and that they literally got a manicure and everything and took a shower and, you know, scrubbed their feet? Do you really want to know about that? Do you really want to know if your waifu sat there and farted and because she ate a lot of Taco Bell and it smelled really bad and woke up their partner? Do you really want to know about that if you're like on the weeb side? Or would you rather be like, oh yeah, my VTuber, you know, she's absolutely amazing. She's a waifu of a darling, you know? Whereas for the gamer side, you know, with the gamer side, it's like, oh, you know what? You probably shit. You probably pissed. I'm sure it's okay. You probably fucked someone. There's more understanding towards that stuff. And so as a result, what makes it really interesting is because of that, what that means is then, as well, for the weeb, because of the parasocial aspect of things with this, that means that, you know, a lot of VTubers are actually straight up terrified to even talk about their freaking, if they're in a relationship or not, because that parasocial nature makes a lot of people feel like they're gonna get to date them, and if they find out that the VTuber is actually dating someone, there's this sort of weird feeling of like, oh, fuck, you're dating someone. That means you're not available. Why do I want to support you? Fuck you, bitch. Fuck you. That's literally how it kind of gets turned into. Whereas with like the gamer personality type, it's like, yeah, You got a life outside of streaming. You do shit. You probably work or something. Maybe you're dating someone. Maybe you got fuck buddies. Maybe you're, you know, maybe you got like a whole polykill thing going on. There's more understanding. And so, on one hand, basically, one way to put it is like, on that note, actually, basically what that means is that for the weeb side, then at that point, it's like, hang on, I lost my train of thought there, hang on. Well, shit. I lost my train of thought. Well, the train of thought left the station. Decided it didn't want to be fucked by me. Didn't want to go up my asshole. So instead it decided to fuck off. Well, shit. But no, hang on. So, like, the thing is, what that means is that it means that the weeb side may, and I'm gonna put this in the fucking bold, okay? I'm putting this in fucking bold and italics just to make sure that people understand this. They may be less tolerant. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, hopefully that doesn't happen again, okay? Hopefully that doesn't happen again, because that was bad. That was bad. If that... Oh no, and another ad's about to play. Fuck. Damn it. Okay, hang on. So an ad is about to play again. Hang on, there's got to be a way for me to turn that off. Hang on. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna refresh the website over here to make sure it's still working. Okay, it's still working on the YouTube end too. Okay, we're good. You can avoid ads by subscribing. Yeah, I just turned off the ad manager, so it should not play ads anymore for the rest of the stream. There may be pre-roll ads, which is gonna suck, but just so you guys don't have to deal with the ads, okay? Okay. Glad we had that talk. Anyways, hopefully we don't have any more issues today. God damn. Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, so what I was trying to say before I was so rudely interrupted is that with this, basically what happened is I was saying that with the weeb side, they may be less tolerant of change to the way that your personality, to the way that to their mental image, I should say. And so what that means in regards to that is that means that tolerance that they would have And so I'm going to go and give the flip side of this to the gamer, where they may be more tolerant of it, right? And the reason that you would be more or less tolerant of the change to the mental image is because when someone streams, right? When someone's playing games, when you're trying to connect with that content creator, right? There's a certain mentality that you have towards them. Yeah, it's that immersion, basically. It's absolutely that immersion that we're talking about here, right? Where you're sitting there and you get to sit there and enjoy being immersed with the content creator. You basically get to sit there and enjoy interacting with them, right? But if you're more on the weeb side of things, you may not enjoy it as much, because if all of a sudden, you learn that they're dating someone, or you learn that they're, they have a differing opinion than you, it may cause issues. You may stop supporting them as a result. Whereas with the gamer side, they may be more understanding, and because they're more understanding, as a result, that means that, oh, maybe you have a different opinion. Hey, you're a person. Congrats. Oh, you may not be playing this. I may not be around while you're playing this that I don't support, but that's okay. I'll be back later, There's a difference in between these audiences. And so what's interesting about it is that, typically speaking, as you grow, right? As you grow as a VTuber, as a content creator, you tend to fall into one of two categories, right? You tend to either, by the way, hang on, as a heads up, by the way, if you are a chatter and the stream broke for you, make sure you refresh the page, because of the fact that, the stream had to restart. It did its stupid thing because of whatever happened. No idea what happened, but yeah. If you're noticing, if you had an issue, make sure you refresh the page as a heads up, okay? All right. Anyways. So, part of this, I mean, if they're a chatter, that might mean I'm on in the background and they didn't even notice, so they should be able to hear me. They may be able to hear me. I don't know, but they might. But no, in all honesty, though, when it comes down to it, though, this all kind of starts to line up. If you've noticed, it actually starts to line up a lot, right? With... Exactly. Refresh if you haven't already. But yeah, basically, all of this stuff basically goes into a weird category where, like, how we were talking about just how we initially started this conversation with and I need to just make these two groups real quick. Okay, so, like, because if you think about it real quick, when we first started talking about this right here, right? We were bringing up this whole thing right here where you got, like, the different types of streamers, from passive reactive to active reactive, how the weeb tends to be versus the gamer audience tends to be. But then on top of that, when you actually start to define the games a bit more, and you start defining more as well the type of content that a weeb will watch versus the gamer, you start to get more of this nuance going on here where, you get this nuance going on where you start to see that, yes, people do fluctuate. People do have a spectrum to the things that they do, to the things that they talk about, to the things that they play, right? But on the flip side, there is certain types of content that people are willing to interact with, that people are willing to deal with. And a good chunk of that ends up coming down to whether or not they lean more towards gamer versus weeb. Because the thing is if we go back to the personality type stuff, you know, with that VTuber audience thing, that content creation audience that I was talking about, where you tend to have more of the assholes, it tends to be more on the bigger VTuber stuff. What that also means is, like, if I were to sit there, for example, and go and, like, be like, you know what? Come over here and go to Twitch, look at a category, right? That would mean, like, let's say, you know, someone wants to go and play, I don't know. Let's just say someone, you know, that's typically more active decides to play a new game. Like, let's say they decide to play Wukong, right? And then they play Wukong and it doesn't go over so well, right? Here's the problem with it, is that them playing Wukong, that gamer audience may disappear, or some of them may disappear, and they're left with more of the weeb audience. But as a result, you'll actually see that viewership drop. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, because they can actually handle that. Because that's just a part of the fluctuation, the ebb and flow of watching content. Because there's some content you like, there's others you don't. Like, I think that not everyone liked watching me play freaking Epic Mickey, did they? I'm pretty sure not everyone enjoyed watching me play Epic Mickey, because it's not a game that really matches with my personality. But I have a lot of information about Disney, and so I play it. And it was a lot of fun. Also, Zakinator, thank you so much for joining the brigade. Hope you're enjoying your time here with the hideout. How you doing, hun? I mean, I'm glad you had fun, Zayden. I'm so glad that you actually had fun with it. But, like, yeah, I did keep it entertaining. I absolutely did. And doing so with the relative, this is where you get off. No worries. I hope you enjoy your time with the relative. But that's kind of the thing, though, with all of this, is that when it comes down to it, come here, is when it comes down to it with this stuff, as you're looking at it, you know, you're going to have to sit there and you have to balance the two of these things. You actually straight up do have to balance these things, because if you don't, it's just not going to go over well. And hell, you know what I'm going to do on top of this, just for shits and giggles? Hang on. Let me come into my emotes here real quick. Trust me, this is for a good cause. This is for a good cause here. There. Perfection. Perfection there. There we go. I had to. God damn it. Exactly. See, Satan's got the right idea. And so, there is one thing that sucks about all of this, though, too. And it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. It's missing something. What is it missing? What is it missing, huh? But no, in all honesty, you know, part of all of this, though, that makes it really interesting with it, though, too, is that there is a third thing that goes with this, right? An actual third thing. Can you believe that there's actually a third thing? Can you, like, actually believe that there's actually a third thing that can go with this? Because guess what? I'm about to lay down a third thing for you guys here. And it's not a horny reactive. Thank you for the hydrate. Here we go. Twitch made an oopsie whoopsie fuck you. What's the worst stuff you've ever experienced? whenever a new game comes out and it just completely fucks everything. It just completely fucks everything. That's how you know it's bad. But anyways, so we're going to talk about something else real quick, and it's the last thing here, right? The flow state, aka streamer brain. And the best way for me to put this, right? The best way for me to put this in a way that's gonna make a lot of sense. Also, DSX, I don't know if I saw it, but I thank you so much for joining the brigade. I hope you enjoyed having here with the Okadachis. So I'm gonna pull up a knowledge curve here, right? And the reason I'm pulling this up is because this is actually gonna be very relevant to what I'm talking about here. You motherfucker! Making me fucking... It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You just don't want me being tanned. I see how it is, you know. You know what? I wanted to be... Really? Really? Why? I'm just... Why? No! Why do you put me in the trash can? Why? I don't deserve being in here, you know. I don't deserve being in the trash can, motherfucker. Why? Why? You know what? Fuck it, I'm touching grass again, bitch.
Mods drag the Yumi through the garden.
So, let's put it like this. How many of you guys have ever heard of the Dunning-Kruger effect? How many of you guys have ever actually heard of it? And, while I wait for you guys to respond to it. So, the Dunning-Kruger effect here, as you can see, I'm going to enlarge this real quick so you guys can see it. Basically what this is it's about knowledge, right? When you start out at knowing nothing, you basically have peak confidence, right? That means the less you know about something, like that whole ignorance is bliss saying, that ignorance is bliss saying is basically a way, I mean, yeah, it can be kind of inaccurate. It's not accurate to every single person, but basically what it means is essentially that you could be at the peak. Ignorance is bliss is basically the importance of this, right? The reason why it's so important about it is that you could be really confident in something. You could be really stupid confident in something, but then the second, but you may not know anything about it, but then the second you start to learn stuff, you kind of start to feel less confident about stuff. And then the more you learn, the more confident you start to be good, you know, the more you know, start to be confident in what you're talking about, right? And so a lot of this stuff, when it comes down to content creation, right, you may notice that in a lot of cases, I didn't mean to do that. All right, here we go. In a lot of cases, you may notice that not only is the information that you see a lot of VTubers give when they give VTuber advice, is it generic and samey? That's like the biggest thing, is that it tends to be very generic, samey for the content creation advice. Like, do what makes you happy, find your niche, do, like, upload X amount of time. Like, people say that, but how many of those people actually understand that, right? Like, how many people actually feel like they understand that they're okay with this, right? And the problem is, they don't. That's the problem, is a lot of times you know, they're not actually giving, and there's a reason that they're not giving you that much, like, they're not giving you a lot of advice, and it's because that when you actually give detailed advice, like, when you're given detailed advice, right, we're gonna take this, we're gonna make ourselves an arrow real quick here. Because we're gonna signify a couple of things that happen when you're given too much advice. So first off, this detailed advice, I need to make this go like more centered there. So first off, what ends up happening is that detailed advice ends up taking you, and it ends up going, and you lose confidence, right? Because now you're aware of surroundings. So that's the biggest issues, right? And because of that, what ends up then happening is that your flow state, your streamer brain, self-awareness is absolutely a blessing and a curse. And so as a result, what ends up happening is your flow state gets interrupted. Your flow state / streamer brain. Oh. Your flow state, your streamer brain basically gets interrupted, right? And so, as a result, because of that, that means that now, as you learn more, it then goes into the next step where now your content is affected, right? And what that means about your content being affected is that means the way you stream, you start being unsure of things. You start having a struggle with if you're going to actually do good or not with what you're streaming. It's just not going to be anywhere near as fun. So, the solution then is that once you've actually...
Did you know that chocolate pudding is just semi-solid chocolate milk?
I did know that, actually. But then here's the thing. What's the solution to this? The solution is to learn more, because once you've learned more, you can then, at that point, get to a point where now your flow, your streamer brain is fixed at that point, right? That's what happens when you have too much, like, detailed advice, too much information at this point. That's basically what ends up happening here. And that's basically the Dunning-Kruger effect in a nutshell. And so, as a result, when you have that generic, samey advice for content creation, the thing is with that, right, is that as you're sitting there, that flow state, your streamer brain, doesn't have to worry about stuff, because all someone needs to do is honestly just sit there, is like just give general advice, and that general advice you are then given basically, it basically leads to the same direction at that point, where you're basically getting your streamer brain, I should actually put this, just works. That's how I would put it, right? And so as a result, that's why, like, a general advice, and I'm actually going to make it / direction. And that's what ends up happening in a lot of cases. I have a theory that's what happens in agencies. I have a theory that's what happens with a lot of management and all that too. Because realistically speaking, if I were to sit here and then give another arrow here, and this time I'm going to go and turn it into an orange color here. And the reason I'm going to do this here, right, is because... Yeah, your gunpla brain, yeah. And the reason for this, right, is because... with the thing is you don't really need, like... Because this is basically how it kind of works at the end of the day, right? Is the content creator doesn't need to know all the details, just what works and what doesn't. Leave most details to the manager. And I need to put, like, you know, down here, and I'm going to put this in, like, really tiny font, being like, if you have a manager, right? So that's basically the reason why I'm putting it there is because you don't need a manager for this stuff, so hide the technical details. Yeah, because basically the idea is here, because again, you see this flowchart of what happens if you get too much information, which makes you lose confidence and and you become, I should really put, more aware of surroundings, right? Which then interrupts your ability to do things correctly, which affects your content, which means you need to. So now I'm going to put, like, need to learn more, which in turn leads you down this whole path. Sleep well, Sarahs. It was a pleasure having you here, hon. Which means you now need to learn more so that you can restore your flow state, your streamer brain. Whereas if the manager just, like... Which I'm going to go and make this another thing here. We're going to make a... manager slash... manager slash content creator analysis. And so, as a result, in most instances, realistically, if you were to just sit there, you could honestly just get away with either A, having the manager slash VTuber basically analyze this stuff and just give general advice. And if that's the case, then they don't have to worry. Like, I think I need to make this, like, you know, I think this kind of makes sense to say. I think this looks a little messy, but basically, if you're, I should make, like, you know, damn it, I need to actually move this over a little bit more. So you got your manager content creation. And so I'm going to go put an arrow here that's basically going to be like... That's basically going to be like if it's kept minimal, right? And the reason I'm doing this, I'm going to actually make this a little bit smaller too. Because if this is kept minimal, If kept minimal, that makes a lot more sense there. Because if it's kept minimal, that means that the advice will go that way, right? Whereas if it's not kept minimal, if it, for example, gets over-explained, yeah, if it gets over-explained, then what's going to end up happening is you're going to get this whole flow here of what ends up happening. And so if I were to sit here and give this a different color, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this we're going to give this green, right? And then we're going to make this arrow yellow here to signify the issue. And then we're going to give this arrow here, like, optional information, right? And so I'm going to actually go and be like... Yeah, this is going to make a lot more sense now at this point. But basically, there you go. There you go. That probably makes a lot more sense, right? And then I'm going to make this arrow right here. We're going to make that green. And then we're going to make that green. That way, it all starts to make sense. Because where you want to be... Because I'm going to bold, underline, and all this. This right here is what you want to be in. The flow state, a.k.a. streamer brain. And I'm just going to put, like, here. Where you want to be. And the reason you want to be in a streamer brain... And I'm going to make this right here like so. And we're going to just make this a little bit tinier. Right? So this is why all of this works, right? So as you can see right here, the flow state, aka the streamer brain of where you want to be. And the reason for all of this, and I really need to get all of this, you know, cleaned up real quick. There we go. So the reason for this is, like, a lot of advice seems to be very generic, but the reason a lot of it seems generic is because of the fact that you're actually dealing with, whenever it's either yourself understanding it or a manager telling you something, realistically speaking, what can happen is if someone gives you too much information, all of a sudden that confidence that you had on that Dunning-Kruger scale ends up going in the wrong direction, right? And so then you lose confidence, you become more aware of surroundings, then your streamer brain is interrupted as a result. You're not able to think, you start questioning everything, and that affects your content. And so you need to learn more stuff. And as a result, because you need to learn more stuff, you then have to, once you've learned enough, you get that flow state back. But the problem is that you could easily get stuck here if you're not careful. You can actually just straight up get stuck in a loop in the event that someone were to go and over-explain things again, right? And so you don't want to be stuck in this loop here that could happen. But if your manager or if you yourself keep it minimal and you just take general advice and direction, then your brain is just going to keep working. Because do you really need to know how certain things work? Probably not. Do you need to look at the data and be like, this is why it works? Yeah. So the missing arrow was intention unless you get stuck, basically. And so there's optional info that also points towards, like, do you need to know this? Do you not need to know this? And so as a result, let's put it like this. Would you rather, if you're sitting there and you're being a content creator, would you rather someone sit there and be like, hey guys, I'm gonna tell you that this is why XYZ number means the XYZ thing, and I'm gonna tell you how this affects you in XYZ way, and how you need to actually change this so that XYZ thing actually works correctly, because if you don't do XYZ thing, all of a sudden XYZ thing won't work, and if it doesn't work, then XYZ thing is gonna break. Versus, would you rather hear someone say, hey, so I'm looking at your data here, and it looks like this didn't work so well for you, so you should probably do this thing over here instead, and it'll just work better for you. Which sounds better to you, chat? Which sounds better to you? Because realistically speaking, I know which one sounds better to me, personally. And so as a result, some people can function with the detailed advice. There is nuance to that. It really just depends. It really does. But that is kind of how it works as a whole. And so as a result, with basically these three things here, this is effectively what I've been processing in the majority of my stuff over the past 2 weeks, actually understanding this stuff. And it's weird how well it works, because it really just shouldn't, you know? But this is stuff that you won't really learn from someone, because most people aren't going to really teach you about this stuff. And so as a result, that's just kind of how it works, you know? And that's why I've been working so hard on, you know, on this document over here. Because I've been, like, I saw that VTuber document, that guide to VTubing document that someone paid, that, like, you know, was, like, charging, I think it was, like, 25 bucks for. And it was generic as fuck. It was terrible as hell. It was freaking written by ChatGPT with the way it looked. And honestly, it just wasn't that good. It really wasn't that good. It really wasn't. I personally, no. No. Fuck that. That shit was awful. Like, I actually read it because a friend may or may not have given it to me because they bought it. But it was terrible. It was terrible. The advice in it was, like, the most generic shit. Like, you know, if you stream, you'll actually grow. You know, that's basically what it was in a nutshell. That's basically what it was in a nutshell. And it was, like, the stupidest thing ever. Yeah. Like, there was some really stupid things in there, and I didn't particularly care for it. I'm not gonna go over it, but it was bad. It was really, really bad, honestly. Uh-oh. How much for this document? Well, if I ever finish writing it, free 99. Also, I love how it actually froze. OBS on my end froze again. Oh, no. This time it's not the streaming one, so it's okay. Maybe. Shit. Me. Oh, fuck. Okay, there we go. Hello? Can you hear me, guys? Can you hear me? Hello? Okay. Alright, I'm glad you guys can hear me. Okay. Okay, so with that being said, okay? I feel like we need to change up the vibe a little bit. What about you guys? What about you guys? Do you guys want to change up the vibe? Because I think I did a pretty good amount of talking there for a second, you know? I think I actually did a really good vibe. Yeah, game screen frozen though? Uh-oh. Oh, no. Really? Baby! No, the laptop's not dying, Lena. It was the desktop this time. We're fine. We're fine. We're okay. It's okay. All right. Honestly, though, at this point, though, yeah, no, we're fine. We're fine. We're okay. It's okay. Honestly, given the fact that we're having this much fucky-wucky issues, though, oh my god, you're making me drunk. Are we fucking serious right now? Really? Really? You know what? That's completely fair. That's completely fair. You know what, though? Given the fact that, you know, we have been going for about 3 hours, and, given how educational and informative this is, and with all the issues... No, I'm not normally drunk. Given how many issues we've been having with OBS today, I guess Sunday is just not a good day for OBS right now, which is fucked. But I became a ninja recently. So what I'm gonna do, considering the fact that OBS has been fucky-wucky, I think now is probably a good time with this, since we've been going on this really good tangent here. I think I'm gonna end stream like 2 hours early. Because, you know, I just talked your ears off a lot about technical stuff. And I might post those images on either Twitter or Discord. I might. I don't know where I'm going to post it, but you know what? You felt like it was an engaging college lecture. I'm glad to hear that you felt like that. But anyways, we're not going to be sharing the love today because... Fuck it. I don't feel like sharing the love today. I feel like causing chaos, motherfuckers! That's right! We're causing chaos! No love. No happiness. Only butt fucking. Anyways, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you guys. And I will see you guys tomorrow for a community night. And we're going to be starting up Spooktober here next week as well. So I hope you guys are looking forward to Spooktober. We're going to be doing a lot of horror-esque games. It's going to be a lot of fucking fun. So I hope you look forward to it. Until tomorrow. Bye-bye. And stay chaotic, bros. Stay chaotic, Okadachis. And also remember... Make sure to join the Discord so you can stay up to date with everything. Bye-bye!